Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. We're in kind of a different setting today. I'm in my bedroom. I just kind of like got bored of the usual sitting in the kitchen vibe because I feel like a lot of my videos recently have been me sitting there. So we're changing it up. Today is going to be kind of a short video, I think, unless I start talking a lot, which happens sometimes. But today is going to be today I'm going to be telling you guys about our 24-week checkup appointment and some new things that I've found out about my brain. It's kind of crazy that like this is all coming to light now, but whatever, we'll get into it. I'm currently 24 weeks and 4 days pregnant, and we had, and today's Friday, February 12th, we had our appointment on Tuesday, the 9th, I think. Our appointments are usually always pretty fast. Peter is still able to come, thank goodness, and he loves coming to the appointments. It's fun for both of us, and I think it's sweet how excited he is about everything. Pretty much, let's see, I've gained, so I started off at 135 was my weight, and now I'm 148, so I've gained 13 pounds, which is like kind of crazy that I'm weigh almost 150 pounds. That's like insane to me, and I still have more weight to gain. So I actually didn't start gaining hardly any weight until I turned 20 weeks. When I went in for my 20-week appointment, I think I mentioned this in the last video, I don't know, but I had only gained 4 pounds at that point, and so I've gained almost 10 pounds in 4 weeks, which is like, whoa. But you know, I just remind myself I'm growing a baby, my blood volume is like doubling, I've got all this fluid floating around, there's a placenta in there and a baby, like there's just like a lot going on, so I understand why you have to gain weight. I'm still doing good for weight. My blood pressure is finally starting to normal out. For those of you who have watched all of my videos, I mentioned in one of my first trimester recap videos that I struggled really bad with low blood pressure. It was always like 100 over like 70 or something crazy like that. And now I'm up to like 120 over 80. For those of you who haven't had normal pregnancy checkups, like the normal every 4-week ones, if I didn't have questions, I think the appointment would probably last like 3 minutes. My doctor comes in, she asks how I'm doing, she asks if we have questions, which I always do, and then she measures my belly to make sure my, now I'm forgetting what the term is, and then she listens to the heartbeat, and that's it, and then I schedule my next appointment. So the first thing I had asked her was about magnesium spray, because I've been having really bad hip pains per usual, and my chiropractor said that his wife used magnesium spray when she was pregnant and supposedly it helped with the pain. And so I asked her about it. She's like, I've never heard of magnesium for pain before, so, and I was just like, that's fine, I just won't use it. And then I had also mentioned that I couldn't remember when I needed to get my next RhoGAM shot, because also, for those of you who don't know, I'm Rh negative, so I have to get the RhoGAM shot. Because of my history of miscarriages, my doctor gave it to me right away this time, just in case. So I couldn't remember when I was supposed to get it again, which it turns out I'm supposed to get it next time, my 28-week appointment. So that'll be fun. And then the last two things are kind of like TMI, so if you don't want to hear TMI pregnancy things, then skip ahead a little bit. First thing I mentioned was I was leaking a lot more fluid than I felt was normal or what I was used to. And I get a phone call once a month from this really awesome nurse, and it's this free thing that our insurance provides, which is cool. And she had mentioned that during this time, I need to make sure I'm checking and paying attention to my discharge, is what she called it. And I just noticed, like in the mornings when I woke up, it literally, like it looked like I peed myself. So I brought that up to her, and she's like, you know, it sounds normal, but we'll just do a pelvic exam just to make sure you're not leaking amniotic fluid, because if you are, then you have to be admitted like until you have the baby, because that means that there's a hole in your water bag, which can lead to infection. There's just like a whole spew of things that aren't good if your bag has a leak in it this early. She did a pelvic exam. She said everything looked normal. She looked at the fluid underneath the microscope and said it's just normal discharge, so that's great. And then this last part, this is where it gets crazy, and this is what goes into like the whole brain situation. I've had this really weird random pain sometimes when I am like having a bowel movement or something. Like when I'm straining really hard, I get this like sharp radiating pain just like at the base of my neck, and it feels like a migraine. It's like super intense pain, and it's just like sudden, like the snap of a finger, and it's there, and it like goes up into my brain a little bit, and then it only lasts for like a minute and then it goes away. And I had brought it up to my doctor a long time ago, like 5 years ago, and she said that it was normal, that she said she wasn't concerned of anything, and just like don't strain as hard. So I just kind of went this whole time thinking it was normal. And then I also, whenever I get headaches, it's always in the same spot. It's like very rare that I have like a normal like headache or from like dehydration or something like that, you know what I mean? And I've always like told Peter, I was like, dang, I just feel like I hope I don't have like a tumor or something in my brain, because every time I get a headache, it's in the exact same spot, and it's like a very specific pain. So I just always thought that was weird. But again, no doctor has ever offered to give me an MRI. They just do x-rays of my neck, and they say like, well, yeah, your neck like curves. It's not like very curvy. It's just a posture thing. So then when I started seeing a chiropractor, my mom, that was my Christmas gift. I think it was Christmas. She's paying for me to see a chiropractor, which has been so nice. But I realized that like my neck pain hasn't really gone away, or it hasn't gotten any better since I've been going. And I've been doing posture scans, not x-rays, posture scans, literally just like a picture, whatever. And like my neck is like starting to go back to the correct position. All of these things were kind of just floating around in my head. I didn't really think about stuff too hard necessarily. It wasn't until just like randomly one night popped into my head that like, okay, I get this pain when I'm straining really hard, like when I'm having a bowel movement, and I'm about to have a baby, which is like having one giant poop. So then I had the concern of like, what if that pain happens every time I go to push the baby out or something? And then my brain went to like the absolute worst spot ever, and I was like, oh my gosh, what if I have like a brain tumor or something, like a brain aneurysm, and then one time I push and something explodes and I die in labor? Like I literally had the worst thoughts possible. So I brought that up to her, and she was like, well, that's not normal. Like, I don't know why no one's tried to figure this out before, but you should probably see like a neurologist or something, because that is a concern. Like, you need to get that figured out. Immediately after my OB appointment, I sat in my car, I called my primary office, and they had an appointment that's available for that night at 5 p.m. So, and it was with not my normal primary, which I've only seen my primary one time, so I don't even like consider him like my primary doctor. So it was with a different person. I was like, that's fine, I just need to get in as soon as possible. So I went in, and it turns out that doctor was amazing. He was super cool, and I will be seeing him from now on. So he brought up one term called the Chiari deformation, which is pretty much where, so at the bottom of your brain, you have your brain stem, and it comes out of like a little hole in your skull. And the Chiari deformation is where part of your brain is also coming out of that hole where the brainstem is. So it's not like life-threatening or like There's nothing they can do to fix it. There's different severities of it, but pretty much it's just like you get diagnosed and then you just know you have it and that's it. Other than that, he didn't really know what to do, but he did say, he's like, I'm glad you thought of this now, because that is, again, that's very concerning, because yeah, like I described it as like having a migraine. So then he said, like, there's no way you could give birth while having a migraine. Like, that would be terrible, miserable, which I agree with. He referred me to get an MRI of my brain and my spine. And then he also sent me a referral to see a neurologist. Excuse me. That's pretty much where we're at now. I got a hold of the neurologist and they tried to say they didn't have any appointments available until May 25th, which is 6 days before my due date. And I said, that's not gonna work. And then they magically had an appointment available on March 11th. So I got that booked. And then as far as the MRI goes, it took a while to get it scheduled. I still haven't gotten it scheduled, actually. They had to run it through my insurance first, and then I got a call this morning and we were about to book it, and then she was like, oh, I see here that you just had an ultrasound. Are you pregnant? And I was like, yes. And then she's like, oh, okay, well now I have to send it back to our technicians or whatever, because they have to approve of this MRI since you're pregnant and make sure it's safe. So I have to wait for the call back from them, and then I'll get it scheduled, and hopefully they'll be able to do that soon. So I have my appointment with my rheumatologist on March 10th, because I also have been having really bad RA flare-ups, which is so weird because I haven't had a flare-up in so long, until I got pregnant, and I can't take any medicine. So, and then on March 11th at 7:30 a.m. I have the appointment with my neurologist, and then I also have my next OB appointment on the for my 28-week checkup. As long as I can get my MRI scheduled before then, which I don't see why I wouldn't be able to, then I can have a game plan with all these other doctors before I see my doctor. And just let her know like what's going on. I'm really convinced that I have the Chiari thing, because when I was looking into it, it's like literally exactly the pain that I've been dealing with for so long. And I don't know why no one has ever like suggested that I get an MRI before, because I always complain of the pain in the exact same spot every time. I get massages, I've been seeing a chiropractor, I've done acupressure, like nothing ever helps the pain, it never gets better. You know, I just thought it was because I did lash extensions for so long and I just had bad posture. I think that maybe it'd make more sense that I have this. I also realized that after every time I get adjusted, I have a little bit of like that pain. It's not as intense, but it's like definitely there. And before I just thought it was because when the chiropractors adjust my neck pops like 50 times. That's dramatic, not actually 50 times, but I just thought maybe my neck was sore from being adjusted, but now it makes way more sense. On one hand, I hope that I don't have it, because that would, like, I don't know what that would mean for labor and delivery, but also on the other hand, it would be nice if I actually had a diagnosis for this neck pain that I've been dealing with for the last 5+ years. So we'll see. I'll obviously keep you guys updated. That is how my 24-week checkup was. It started off a normal day, and then by the end of the day I have this undiagnosed brain problem. Also, for those of you who watched my 20-week appointment, you will know that my doctor, my OB, is pregnant with twins, and our bellies are the same size, and she's eight weeks behind me. She's just awesome. I love her. God really blessed us with putting her in our life, so shout out to her. She probably will never see this video, but I just, you know, I don't know where I would be without her. That is my update for you guys, and that is it for this video. I'm about to record getting our nursery started, so that is going to be fun. Kind of. You'll see in the video. It's gonna be a long process, but it's gonna be fun. It'll be all good times in the end. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or morning or night, whatever time it is, whatever time you're watching this. I hope it's a good time, and I will see you guys when I see you.